a great pleasure to be talking to Derek Hughes today. Now, you'll have seen his column in the Portugal Resident, A Year in Monchique, and that's just one of the many M's that we may talk about today. Monchique, minister, as in yes, minister, musical theatre, Mackay, as in Paul Mackay, who wrote the original book, A Year in Monchique, and May, as in Theresa May, as well as other British prime ministers. There's so much to talk about. I'm not sure we're going to be able to do this in 20 or 30 minutes, Derek. Thank you for being here. We might have to do a part 2 with you.
Well, thank you for the invitation, Carl. Senor Carl, or should I say Mr. Carl? Have you noticed in Portugal, everyone says Mr. and then your first name?
Senor Derek is, yes, that works for both of us, I think, today. So Senor Carl, or Senores Carl and Derek are here to talk about your incredible life moving to Portugal. And it revolves around the lovely quote that I saw in one of your columns, because sometimes in life you have to stop dreaming and start doing. That's going to be a great inspiration for people. Can you tell us when that happened for you? And the lovely story around Old Compton Street, the Portuguese restaurant. I really love that little anecdote. That's not a bad place to start, is it, with your life in Portugal?
The restaurant in Soho in London was, I gravitated towards Portuguese people and Portuguese restaurants, so it was a Portuguese restaurant. And as I worked in Whitehall, on the way back to the hotel, I used to stop off in this Portuguese restaurant. And there was a lovely lady from Porto, and she used to talk to me because I was on my own, working away. And I said to her, one day I'm going to live in Portugal. And she said, no, you're not. You won't do that. You won't give up all this in London.
Right.
And then when I finally handed in my resignation, I walked in and I said, I'm leaving. And I think she was a bit jealous, actually. I think she wants to come back to Porto herself.
I can understand that. Yeah.
So yeah, that was the moment when I made the decision to come to Portugal.
How amazing! What was it called? Do you remember? Can we give the name of the restaurant? Shout out to the lady in the restaurant.
It's actually closed. I went back to London a few months ago to go and see her, and it's now a Chinese restaurant.
Oh right, okay. So Chinese food fans gain, Portuguese food's lost. But what was it called? Was it one of the stockpot restaurants?
No, it was an independent restaurant.
Oh, right,
and when I used to have a team meeting, I used to take everybody there because the servings were very large.
Oh, wow. Typically Portuguese then, but you're not going to be able to enjoy it. Maybe she's back here as well, Derek. So you ended up in Monchique. You said, I'm going, and you ended up in Monchique, which brought about the first most incredible coincidence, that lovely arrival present, the gift that was left for you when you first got to Portugal. Tell us a little bit about that, if you will.
So I bought a farmhouse, not having any idea what would be involved in buying farmhouse and land. I didn't even understand how much land there was. I didn't even know where the water came from. Just thought these things happen.
Right.
Where does the sewage go? Oh, I didn't think about that. But before the people I bought the house off, Paul McKay and his partner Martin, Paul wrote a book called A Year in Monchique.
Yeah.
And they came in the 80s from London, and they wanted to do The Good Life. Remember The Good Life, the sitcom?
Absolutely. So, we just recently lost Penelope Keith, didn't we?
We did. Yeah, I adore. Yeah. I used to love it. And Savannah Ball.
Yeah, me too. Yes, absolutely. Jerry. Yes.
So they did The Good Life. They had pigs, rabbits,
amazing,
all sorts, arable farming. I tried that for about 30 minutes and I gave up.
Went well then, did it? Right, okay.
So I'm not a farmer. I tried and I failed miserably. But Paul wrote the book about it, but all his experiences. And then when I walked into the farmhouse, I didn't know any of this. And he left a book for me on the table and he signed it.
How fantastic.
And he said, it's your turn now, Derek. You make sense of it. You try and get through it.
So handed over the premises, the keys, and the book, which is something of a handbook, I suppose, if it's written by the people who live there. And so you bought it from them, and did they imagine that you would be picking up those reins and your wellies and looking after animals there?
I think they had an idea that I wouldn't be doing it. I think they sensed it.
Okay, that your interests were more in musical theatre than mucking out.
Yes.
Another end. Okay.
Offices in the West End was more my scene than
Be quite a big transition to make, and so it wasn't long until you figured that out. So is it more, do you have ornamental planting? I mean, you must love being in the countryside even though you don't want to raise animals, presumably.
Yes, so the land is like it never ends. I've been strimming today. I'm a bit red.
Me too.
Yes. I've had two guides here today helping me. It just never ends. It never ends. I've been strimming. Another guy helping with the farm, trying to get the water to the house because there's no water. It comes to the mountain. I never knew any of these. Occurred to me.
Right.
Oh yes, when they Paul and Martin left, there was sort of a shower. It'd been empty for a few years, and they said that's where we used to slaughter the pigs.
Oh dear, oh dear.
We used to go down, and I thought, well, it's time to get a new shower. I'm not going into that shower unit.
Wow, amazing. So you and Beagle Ben ended up in Monchique in this place that we're describing, that's detailed in the book, A Year in Monchique. Your column has become A Year in Monchique episodes, or series 2 and series 3, right? And you detail this amazing life of yours, and your decisions, among which not to become a farmer are one, and the amazing things that have happened to you since being here, because there are a lot of coincidences that happen to you, Derek. Is that a normal thing for you? Have you always had that growing up?
I just think I get some bad luck sometimes. People see me in Monchique and they say, that didn't really happen, did it? I go,
Right.
yeah, it did. Yeah.
It really did.
Unfortunately, it did.
Why Monchique? Why did you land there in the first place? Or choose?
That's a great question. I think, like many of your listeners, Portugal was introduced to me by my parents.
Right.
Probably nearly 40 years ago. We went to Albufeira in search of Bonnie Tyler, who we've just lost as well.
Oh, wow,
We're all
yes.
upset in the Algarve about losing Bonnie. So we were in Albufeira on the strip. No, it wasn't Monchique. And my mother said, let's go for a day trip on a coach to a place called Monchique. Well, it could have been outer space. We didn't know. And I always remember me and my sister on this coach driving up the mountain in the back of the coach. It felt like 100 degrees, and my sister wasn't well because of the heat.
Oh dear.
And we stopped off in a place called Caldas de Monchique, which is a spa town, and it's just so beautiful. And I remember stepping off the coach, and I'd just never seen anything like it. I'm from Liverpool, and it was like a different world. And it always stayed with me.
Well, there's no thermal baths in the mountains in Liverpool. Is that what you're saying?
No, because I lived in central Liverpool. Going to a mountain in Monchique in the Algarve, it was
a
like
little bit of a contrast. Wow, amazing. And did you think then, I shall return here? This is for me.
That's really interesting. So I then, as we all do, we travel, don't we? We all go through those traveling years, and across Europe and other places. But I kept coming back, and then when my career progressed in Whitehall, and it was quite stressful. And every few months, I feel like I was burning out. So I used to come on my own, just for a week, to Caldas Monchique in a hotel, and just recharge the resilience batteries.
Did you?
And then when I used to get back to London, they used to say, "You look really well, Derek." I went, "Yes, because I've been in Portugal for a week and I've relaxed again." And then one day I had a hire car driving back to Faro airport, and I sat there on my own, and I suddenly realized I didn't want to go back.
Right.
I didn't want to go back.
Yeah, and that informed your decision to make the big leap from the UK to Portugal. And intertwined with that is the Brexit adventure episode, turning point for the whole country and for you in particular. Now, as a government worker, you had a kind of privileged awareness, I suppose, of how things were shaping up, and that and then you could, as I understand it, you could take it no more. That's part of this whole ferment, isn't it, to you finally and fully embracing Portugal?
Yeah, it was always in the back of my mind.
Yeah,
the plan was one day.
Yeah.
I just didn't plan to go so soon.
Yeah.
But in the middle of it all, it was the Brexit chaos years. So Theresa May was the Prime Minister. Boris Johnson was the Foreign Secretary. And I remember once I had a meeting in the Foreign Office, and I was a bit late, and I was running through the corridor, and the security guard stopped me. And he said, "Stop, the Prime Minister's about to pass." And I said, I've got a meeting. Here's my security pass. And he said, "Oh, there's been a terrible meeting with Boris and Theresa," and she just walked into me.
Oh dear!
And I didn't, and she was furious. I could see her face, and she'd obviously had a bad discussion with Boris. I thought, what should I say to her? And I said, "Theresa, I do love your pearls. I really love your pearls."
Obviously. And how did she respond? Did that suddenly bring the a sense of calm and serenity back to her?
She said, "Thank you," and then she just went off. And then I went to the meeting.
Wow!
But it was really difficult because you couldn't say, and when you said what's going to happen and how difficult it was going to be, that wasn't allowed.
Of course. But but as a human being and with a fondness for Europe and Portugal, it was obvious to you personally how that might turn out or land as well. So here you are. But it's as though your life is intertwined with British prime ministers for some reason, isn't it? Tell us more about that.
I can't escape them. I can't escape them.
So who's next then that you bump into, or whose paths you cross with?
Well, I think we've had enough. We've had enough prime ministers in Monchique. It's time for them to go somewhere else. Mr. Cameron doesn't come back anymore. Right. I don't know why.
But weirdly, he was a regular visitor like you, as
he was
to rest and recuperate.
He was
in Monchique. But he's not the only British PM to have gone that way, right? Or to have found peace and solace and serenity there.
Well, it was like a full circle. So on the night of the Brexit referendum, I mean, you couldn't make this up. You could not make it up. I was in Caldas, Monchique, with my mother. I took her away for a week, as I used to do. So I wasn't actually in the UK on the night of the referendum, and I was listening to it on the radio, and Mr. Cameron was often in the restaurant where we were that night. And of course, he wasn't there that night because he was in London. Busy. And then he resigned the next day. But because I'd been visiting Monchique so often, he was often there, and I used to see him. My friend Carlos, who might be listening, used to give him taxi rides. He was a frequent visitor. And once I was in the square, and he's with his two daughters, I think, having ice creams. Wow. So he was a visitor. And I used to see him here. It was very funny because the security, because he was actually Prime Minister then. So all the secret police were in vans around it everywhere. So you'd spot him. But he was left alone, actually. He was quite good like that. He wouldn't be left alone now if we saw him. I think we'd have some words to say.
There may be a few people with a particular view of the process of which he was part as well. Heckling, perhaps. Maybe he's assuming that time will pass and people will forget and he can pop up in Monchique. But this is not the only PM to have visited Monchique or Portugal. I mean, Portugal is very popular with Brits, isn't it? This is another part of this great relationship between England and UK and Portugal. But this goes back as well, doesn't it? There's a historical dimension. So your paths didn't cross with another PM like in real time, but on different a parallel universe, if you like.
Yeah, and I think this where the circle goes round. I think Mr. Cameron discovered Monchique through another prime minister. I think it's no coincidence that Mr. Cameron came later.
Yes,
I think someone must have told him.
Well, and said you really must, if you're a bit stressed, you must go where Derek Hughes goes.
Peace.
Yes.
So I'd heard rumors about this. So I did a bit of digging recently, and Mrs. Thatcher used to come here. Can you believe Mrs. Thatcher?
M for Margaret.
And the strange thing is, she had a house built. So a few months ago, I was in a barber shop in Monchique,
where you find out about everything. Obviously, yes.
And this guy started talking to me, and he said, "Oh, my father-in-law built the house for Mrs. Thatcher." And a bit more research, and it was all true. She used to come here.
How incredible!
It was just fascinating. In fact, at the weekend, this person took me to see the house. So I've actually seen it. Her children sold it later on.
Right.
It's fascinating.
Yes. How incredible. I wonder how long it will be before you bump into another British Prime Minister. Maybe Andy Burnham's got some plans to come to to Portugal at some stage.
I think his intro is a bit full. I think he
that's true. Yes. It may be, but he's going to need a holiday soon. He's going to need a break in quite the way we've described before, that so many people have enjoyed over here in the Algarve. And Monchique, which of course is a little bit inland and well worth a visit. Caldas de Monchique, I think you recommend yourself. Now, you didn't become a farmer there, as it turns out, and as we've discovered. So I'd like to sort of talk a little bit about your career and, where how you worked in the British government and what that must have been like, and what it is you do now locally, having chosen not to put the wellies on and do the good life. But you, as you said, your background is with the British government, and I noticed you're a fan of Yes Minister. As well as rub shoulders with all the prime ministers, as it turns out. Is it like that? Is that why you like Yes Minister so much, because it reflects the real life of being a civil servant?
That is such a good question, Carl. That is fascinating, and I'll tell you why. When I was growing up in Liverpool, in my teens, I used to watch Minister, yes, Minister, then Yes, Prime Minister.
Yes.
And my family thought I was bonkers. They just, why?
Why?
I found this thing funny. So I used to sit and watch it on my own. They couldn't understand my fascination with it. But I just got it. So this is even before I started my career. I think I must have the civil service in my DNA. So somewhere in there. So anyway.
Well, it's the corridors of power, isn't it? There's something to do with the government that seems to be part of you and being involved in that. But yeah.
So when I left, my sister bought me, my beloved sister Carol, who's coming tomorrow. She arrives tomorrow. I'm busy getting ready for her. So she bought me the box set, which I still have here, over there in the corner. But Carl, having done the Whitehall thing and my career, to answer your question, it's exactly like that.
I think people will be a little shocked but not surprised, perhaps, that it is exactly like that. A rich thing.
I can't watch it anymore. I can't. I stop because I go. I've been in that meeting. I've been in that meeting, so I can't watch it. It's true.
Oh dear. So fair to say then you're not unhappy to be. You've done your bit. You've done your bit in public service and as a public servant, and clearly been rewarded as well as a public servant. We need to find out why you have an OBE. I hang out with another Brit who lives in the Algarve, Tig James, MBE, from time to time, and we chat. Derek Hughes, OBE. For what was that bestowed upon you?
Yes, a funny story that I'd left the UK, and they couldn't find me.
Wanting to honour you, they find Derek. We've got an honour for him, and they couldn't find you anywhere in those corridors.
Yeah. So, and by chance, 'cause I don't have a post box at the house. It's too far. I have to go searching to get mail. Anyway, on this day, I happened to go to the place where I collect my mail, and I had that day 24 hours to say yes or no. How bizarre!
Oh wow! Is
Yeah,
that how it works? You're given a short window to say I'll take it or not take it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, what's funny? I hope you think it's funny. So Queen Elizabeth awarded it because of my work championing disability equality rights.
Oh, fantastic. Wonderful.
In the UK.
Yeah.
So that was mainly what it was for. It was also about the service that I've given to the government over the years, but it was mainly for my work for disability equality.
How wonderful. And were you actually given the honour by Queen Elizabeth herself?
That's a good question. So on the day that we went, this is true story. My sister can verify this because she was in the front row. The Queen was ill. The Queen was ill. And I said to my sister, I don't care who it is. Prince William, Princess Anne, even Harry. But there's one person I wasn't too keen on.
Right.
And it was him.
Oh, okay, should we just believe that? Okay, I was happy to leave that as a mystery, but okay. You received. Well, he is the King of England now, so you were given your honour by the King of England.
Well, my mother later said, because I've met the Queen before, because I used to be responsible for the royal family's tax affairs, so I've met the Queen.
Seriously.
Cool. And when Charles became King Charles, my mother said, Derek, you've met a queen and now you've met a king. And I replied, I've always preferred a queen.
Which could be the beginning for so many other stories that you allude to in the column. But we'll, like I say, we may have to do parts 2 and 3, just in the way that you've done with a year in Monchique.
Just to finish that story off, when I got to the medal presented to me, King Charles, then Prince Charles, he said it must be real. I swear this is true. My sister can verify this.
Are you allowed to say this? Are you allowed to share the contents of conversations during an award ceremony? You're going
well,
to.
I mean, I'm in Portugal now, so we can't do nothing.
You're right. Yeah, right.
So he said it must be, because it's still the Brexit chaos. He said it must be really difficult, Derek, working at the heart of government with everything going on.
You're not kidding, sir.
I don't do that anymore, Charles. He said, and he was like flabbergasted. And he said, what do you do? I said, I live in Portugal now. I said, and it's amazing, Charles.
Did you say you use his first name terms?
He just pushed me away.
Wow.
And my sister started laughing. It was so funny.
How extraordinary. And of course, just recently, he has changed the way in which the royal family's tax affairs are viewed or accessed, I think, in the last couple of weeks or so. Wow. Your connections are quite extraordinary one way or another. May I ask what it is you do now? And how on earth could you possibly match all the things that you've told us about? Or do you just recline in some sort of throne as an OBE recipient with people wafting cool air over you on a hot afternoon in the Algarve?
No, I work. You've got to earn the euros. The euros got to keep coming. I work on the land a lot. I like to work with Portuguese people. I believe in giving something back to the community.
Yeah.
So I try and get involved in the community here. It's difficult. Do you ever find that it's quite difficult to penetrate the Portuguese society?
Yes, in some ways, yes. It's a very interesting dynamic because that might sound like Portuguese people are not very friendly or open, and that's certainly not the case. Portuguese people are very open and friendly, and yes, to go to deeper levels of connection, it can be. I mean, not difficult. It's just not a thing, is it? I think people are quite tight knit in terms of family and community. Yeah. And it takes time to be part of that, often by birth or marriage. And I think the assumption is that, you know, you're doing your life, we're doing our life, rather than you're not welcome in our lives. Yeah, I don't think there's anything sort of negative about it. It's just the way of things, isn't it?
No. It's because they're very family. I mean, this is why I like Portuguese people.
Yeah,
they're very family centric. So
yes.
this today, after we stopped working, I was talking, trying to speak Portuguese to these two Portuguese guys, and I really value that. Just sitting there and having a conversation.
Right. Okay, but you're still working there. Well done, well done. Another project that I might suggest you consider, given your interest in musical theatre, and I thought that the finding out about that was hilarious, because I remember being taken to football matches by my dad, and not being especially interested in sitting there for 90 minutes. Some of the greatest, you know, places, Stamford Bridge, you know, going to see Chelsea versus Man United, and I was pretty bored. In a way that some young lads would just have loved to have been there. I've since developed, unlike you, I think, Derek, I've since developed an interest in football, and I'm finding the World Cup fantastic at the moment. We're recording on the 14th of July, and so we have seen England go through into a semi-final with Argentina. So it's so thrilling and exciting. But your love is from your mother's side, not the football from your dad's side, but from your mum's side, the musical theatre. So I'm thinking, is there going to be Yes, Minister the Musical? Is there going to be Monchique the Musical? Is this a possibility? And can I be in the cast?
Well, if you've got a good decent singing voice, I'm tone deaf. Can you sing?
I have been Mother Duck, as in sort of Mother Goose, and sung ABBA on stage, if that gives me a way into this production. I mean, it sounds like we're going to do this now.
Well, you can be the man from the Silver Coast, and I can be the man from the mountain.
Okay,
the coast of the mountain shall meet.
Right, so it is Monchique the Musical with this foreign coming in from the Silver Coast. I can't wait. Let me know when rehearsals begin. We must talk again, Derek. Sorry, go on.
We'll get Natasha as the lead vocalist.
Natasha will be awesome, slapping her thighs with some of those fantastic panto style. What was she? As in, you know, like, there's a woman always playing. I've turned it into a pantomime. Sorry, but you know, in terms of a woman playing the young lad's part, Natasha's going to be amazing for that, isn't she? As a page of some sort.
I watch your podcast.
Well,
that's why I get my Portuguese news. So thank you for that.
Excellent. No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Okay. Well, I'll break the news to Natasha that she's booked for Monchique the Musical. We'll be rehearsing soon, and hopefully people will be able to come and see it. In the place where David Cameron, Margaret Thatcher, and Derek Hughes have found peace and renewal and healing, and long may that continue, Derek. So thanks for speaking to me. I'm seeing this as part one with you, and I urge you to read the very entertaining Year in Monchique column in the Portugal Resident that Derek writes. Last word to you, Derek.
Thank you for inviting me to the podcast. I've really enjoyed it. And to all your listeners, I just say, enjoy every moment. We're very fortunate to be in the country that we're in.
Yeah.
I know we all have some bad days sometimes, but actually, enjoy every day. We're very, very lucky people.
Well said. And if you missed it earlier on, because sometimes in life, you have to stop dreaming and start doing. And that's exactly what you did. And here you are, finding yourself in Monchique in Portugal and writing for the Portugal Resident. Derek, thank you so much. Love to Beagle Ben.
Thank you very much. Adios.